I'm gonna make some of you at home mad with this one. Morris Kohansky said that the knife, or the fixed blade knife, was the most important part of your survival kit. He did not mean just any knife. First up, let's talk about one of my favorite things in existence, the humble axe. Now, the axe has found its way into many a woodsman's kit, and I still include it on our website in the Woodsman Toolkit. It is definitely part of living and making your life in the woods. This is the number one tool, and if I was talking about a tool in the one tool option, the axe, especially the boy's axe length axe, would be in that toolkit. However, this is not in my 72-hour survival kit in the eastern woodlands. This is my woodsman toolkit, which we will talk about at a later date, but it is not one of my must-have survival tools. The second thing that we're going to talk about is the tactical folder. Now, this tactical folder belongs to me. This is out of my search and rescue kit, and it definitely has a home there. However, this is not in my 72-hour survival kit. It's complex. It stands out as a tactical tool, which means I'm going to get stopped at airports with it. I'm going to get stopped at bus stops, train stations, anywhere where tools like this are not friendly. It does have a nice lockup and a nice snap though. This is not in my survival kit at all. This is our tried and true Trapper. A two-bladed knife, definitely part of our heritage kits and our woodsman's tool kits. This may find its way into my survival kit because it's unassuming, it slips into a pocket, and I find myself with it in my EDC. It does have at least 2 blades, which means I can reserve 1 blade for food prep. I can use 1 blade for all of my woodworking tasks and those nastier tasks that you need. Let's talk about big boys. Big knives are cool. Rambo had a big knife. Crocodile Dundee had a big knife. Paul Hogan probably still carries that knife in the kitchen. Paul, if you wind up watching this, I want to know. Do you carry big knives as part of your survival gear? These are not survival tools. Do I own them? Yes. Are they cool? Absolutely. This knife is huge. The Becker BK2 is an excellent knife. You're not going to tear it up. You're not going to break it. You're not going to cut a lot of trap triggers with it either. This knife is huge and just a cool trend. An indestructible knife is cool. I've personally owned more Highlanders and PLSK1s than Battle Horse knives. I don't know how many of these knives I've owned over the years, and I love this knife. This knife is cool. It's got a great contour. It is not a survival knife by my standards. The blade is way too big, and the knife is way too thick. So we're going to ditch that knife too. I also have a problem with carrying knives in a survival situation that I'm going to hesitate to use and abuse because of their price. And a lot of us, $300 is way outside of our price range. This knife, as you can see, is not going to get a lot of use from me. The knife is gigantic at 6, I think it's 6 and like 6.5 inch blade. This is the more a Pathfinder. It's the Bushcraft Black's big brother. Knife's way too long. When I'm using the knife, I'm liable to cut into my arm, cut into my hand. The blade is way too unwieldy, and you will find that the handle is made to use in one grip, which is the primary hammer grip, not a survival knife. We're getting lighter already. So let's talk about some other tools that we can ditch. These tactical knives like this Becker Necker, excellent knife, well-rounded knife. This is not a primary blade. It's not big enough to be a primary blade, and we're not looking for tactical backups. This knife is out of my tactical rig. Definitely not a knife that I'm going to find in my survival kit. One of the things that I have found that I do like as I ride vehicles more, ride horses more in the woods, and I'm using my upper body freedom and my legs may be tied up, is a neck knife. This is a small, unassuming neck knife. This knife is great for light tasks. This may find its way into a survival kit. This is definitely into my rescue kit and a chest rig, but this knife is not meeting the needs of what I think a survival kit fixed blade knife should be. So we're ditching that one as well. Large knives and machetes. This Parang has found its way into my collection, but is not in my 72-hour survival kit. A large whacking and beating and chopper like this doesn't find its way into the eastern woodlands at least until the temperature hits 90 degrees. This may go on a hammock or a canoeing trip with me, but it's not in my everyday survival kit. Let's talk about what it takes to be a great survival knife. And what I'm talking about is always a fixed blade knife moving forward. This, my Battle Lore, has all the indicators of a great survival knife. It's full tang, it's high carbon steel, it's soft enough that I can sharpen it in the field even on sandstone. It's Scandinavian grind, so I can work meat with it. It's a high Scandi, so I can still process wood and meat. It's a little bit more flexible than these large chunky knives. The blade is a little bit wider than my hand, which means I don't get a lot of crossover when I'm doing that fine knife work. It's easy for me to move it in and out of my blood bubble as I'm working with it, or the triangle of death. It's big enough it's not unwieldy when I'm cutting at my hip, at my side. The knife overall is just a good solid contender for a survival knife. The only thing is this is not a budget option for most of us. At 200 bucks, this knife comes in right at the high end of where you should be in a survival knife that you don't care using. A lot of us are going to put this knife up and never use it. That's why I still recommend to everybody the Mora Companion, the Mora Bushcraft Black, and the Mora 511 Basic. All of these knives are a great low fluff knife. I'm not carrying a backup. I'm not carrying any tactical trends. I'm not carrying different sheath options. I'm not carrying stacked knives. None of that stuff. I've got 4.5 inch to 5 inch blade. I have a single multi-blade folder that I can slip in and out of carry-on bags. Most airports aren't going to say much to me, and those are my cutting tools. On my haversack, you know I have a folding saw, a Silky Gomboy, or a Baco Laplander. Unless there's snow on the ground, my axe is staying at home. Now in the woodsman kits, when I'm actually building things in the woods, I'm felling trees, the axe is coming. But in a survival kit, a fixed blade knife is going to see me through. Guys, thank you so much. By all means, if you have any questions, reach out to us at the Hollowcraft Academy. If you'd like to learn more about knife skills and knife uses in survival classes, feel free to sign up for one of our great wilderness survival courses where we do a lot of knife work, and we'd love to see you out there.